But first, to breaking news. President Trump signing an executive order in Wisconsin not long ago titled Buy American, Hire American, in an effort to make good on a campaign promise to put America first. President Trump is starting the push by ordering federal agencies to overhaul the H-1B visa program. Roll tape.
American workers have long called for reforms to end these visa abuses, and today their calls are being answered for the first time. That includes taking the first steps to set in motion a long overdue reform of H-1B visas. Right now, H-1B visas are awarded in a totally random lottery, and that's wrong.
Joining me now, Tammy Bruce, Ned Ryun, and Alex Nowrasteh. And Tammy, let me start with you, because some folks are saying it's really not a truly random lottery, that these Silicon Valley companies flood the system with names they don't really need, understanding that for the most part they're game the system. Therefore, what's happened, 80% of these folks get paid less than the median wage.
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah, and so not only are the companies on our end gaming it, but so are the companies applying to get these visas. In particular, I think 80% of them go to Indian companies in India, and they also they file for these visas in a blanket way. It's not for individuals. So it's just now it's moved from being what was originally the need for high talented, very well educated people with specific talents that we couldn't get here, to this flood for individuals who have no real training, but who will be paid less in the process. So it kind of flipped it on its ear. And of course, these are the stories that we heard where, like in Disney and other companies, where American workers were training their foreign counterparts who knew nothing, but who would take their job for less. This was a campaign promise by the president. He is keeping this promise. This is very important.
Ned, there's no doubt that the system, whether it had initially good intentions or not, it was hijacked, and now this is being done to correct it. I do wonder, though, if we should take our eye off the ball with respect to the enormous opportunities there. And sometimes there a yellow flag on us not being prepared as a nation, not just with these STEM jobs, but others as well.
Oh, I think you have a valid point there, but to reiterate, this was meant to be for highly skilled laborers, and again, the system's being gamed to bring in these lower-level skilled workers to have lower-level IT jobs that have displaced American workers. To give some perspective, Charles, Facebook in 2016, 15% of its workforce were on H-1B visas. That's about 2,500 jobs right there at Facebook alone. So, you know, when Donald Trump said, I'm for the American worker, I want to defend the American worker, I want to defend American jobs, I mean, this is a step in the right direction. There are a couple of interesting things, too, Charles, out of this. Some of the people at the rally today were saying this is demonstrating that Trump is for the poor and the middle class and the American worker. You start to think along those lines, you wonder where the Democrats going to go as Trump again demonstrates he's going after and wanting to defend and protect the American worker and the middle class. That puts Democrats in a hard place. The other thing, though, that I thought was interesting, what a novel idea. We're going to use American taxpayer dollars to fund and to be used for funding, you know, these infrastructure projects, to buy American products, to promote American workers. What a novel idea. What a great thing. The other thing, though, Charles, that's interesting to me, a question that should be asked is this a precursor to immigration reform that will be more merit and skill-based? That's an interesting question
I think that's a foregone conclusion, although I do wonder about Tom Cotton's bill that would slice legal immigration in half. But this is a lot, so let's stick with this for the moment, because, Alex, just so the audience knows, you're Cato Institute's immigration policy analyst. I think Cato likes the current H-1B system the way it is.
Well, there's a lot of problems with it. We think it's too small, and we think that it restrains workers and American firms too much. And I just want to say the president has said he wants to move toward a more merit-based immigration system. Cutting the number of H-1B visas for highly skilled workers is a heck of a way to try to do that. If you really want to move toward a merit-based system like Australia and Canada have, then you need to increase the number of workers coming in on these types of visas or on green cards.
So you
like
say,
this,
hold on, to be sure, I'm going to let you finish, but I want to make sure we're keeping up with you, because you're saying bring in more foreign workers to help Americans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're talking about highly skilled workers. We're talking about workers that allow American firms to grow and to hire more Americans. And the flip side of this is if American firms are not allowed to hire these folks, then what they're going to do is they're going to outsource these jobs to other countries where they're less productive and we get less bang for our buck. I mean, if we're worried about the money that we're going to be able to save, we don't want to do a Buy American deal. We want to get the best deal possible for the American taxpayer and for the American consumer.
Well, look, here's the problem with the way the H-1, how this visa system was gamed, is that we were not using it to bring in the highly skilled.
Exactly.
All the president's action does is it brings it back to its original intention.
No, it doesn't.
It's about he wants to get it out of a swamp of individuals who are not skilled and who are coming in for lower wages.
That's not what it does.
Of course it does. It's not cutting it off at all.
All it calls for is a little bit of research.
Excuse me. It's bringing it back to its original intent. Thank you. So have I. And it's allowing more individuals. I beg your pardon. And it's allowing more individuals.
Let's keep it civil, Alex. We're going to change ideas and thoughts, but not necessarily put each other down.
Don't lie to people. Come on.
But Ned, let me bring you into this because
no, don't lie to people.
Because enough Americans who have these skills have contacted me. In fact, one of the architects of this, Bruce, I think it's Cooper, congressman out of Connecticut. Now he's a workers' advocate. Said that the system was hijacked. I mean, this is a Democrat, a progressive who helped put this together. He says Silicon Valley took it and they manipulated the system. Let's face it, when you start to pump in 250,000 people for maybe 40,000 jobs or 50,000 jobs, you are gaming the system.
Well, no, that's the point. And, you know, Tammy made my point. The point of this is to reform the H-1B visa program to do what it was intended to do, not what's actually being done right now. And again, it is being gamed. And you talked about the lottery system where it's been a lottery system, not merit-based. And so this is trying to get it back to where it should be, bringing in highly skilled laborers and not bringing in low-level IT workers to displace American workers.
Let me go back to Alex for a moment.
One second. That's
Alex,
not what this executive order does at all.
Are you suggesting, though, that America needs to bring in foreign talent to start businesses here and to educate us here, even though most of this technology emanates from this country? I'm trying to get to understand what your rationale for saying more foreign workers is good for the American worker.
Oh, yeah, more highly skilled foreign workers are complementary to American workers. They don't displace them, but they create more job opportunities for Americans at different types of skill categories. They're also more likely, once they eventually get their green card, to start American firms and to file patents at nearly twice the rate that Americans do. So they work very well with Americans. But I just want to say this executive order does nothing that these other guests are saying it's going to do. All it does is call for more study of how to reform the H-1B system. It has no concrete reforms in there at all to do anything that these folks are saying.